Welcome to my YouTube channel. Okay, jokes aside, we're talking about money, serious things, okay? No time for games. If you're here for the very first time, you are welcome, and I hope that you find my content to be helpful in growing in your financial journey. And if you are returning, then you are also welcome, and thank you so much for your support. So let us actually grow this channel, okay? Road to 1,000 subscribers. Yay! As you can see, the title of this video is these are one of the best ETFs to invest in, and I'll also be showing you a tutorial of BrokStock, the platform that I use to invest shares and ETFs and basically many more investment instruments. But for the purpose of this video, we'll be focusing on ETFs, which translates as exchange traded funds. So please do join our family if you haven't done so by clicking on the subscription button and also clicking on that notification bell to receive notifications from us when we do release a new video. Listen, I've been doing Instagram and TikTok for the longest time ever now. Okay, maybe it's not the longest time, like 2 years. And having to move to YouTube, it has been sort of like a really huge mind shift. So yeah, I'm really growing and taking it a step at a time. I really hope that I'm able to dissect information for you in a way that you can understand. So if you'd also like to engage with our content on our social media platforms, which is TikTok and Instagram, as well as Facebook, you can find us at The Money Space 101. So basically, we use the same handle everywhere just to cut the hustle and tussle, okay? I don't know. That's just what I prefer. And hope that you prefer the same thing as well. So right there, we'll post things like reels and basically some short posts and stories will just help you then to further get more engaged throughout the week. And you know that person that reminds you that, hey, don't sleep. You need to remember to save. You need to remember to invest. So if you're that person that needs constant reminders, then please do follow us on social media platforms and literally see how much you will grow. Okay, I just want to share something actually that's funny. I know that's a bit off topic. I remember that time one of my followers was like, DM'd me on Instagram, and he was at the queue at the bank, and he was going to inquire about investment options at the bank. And the weird thing is that he thought about me when he was at the queue, and he was like, "What would the Money Space 101 do? Like, what would Angelina do? Like, what questions would she ask?" And I was like, oh my goodness, I actually have an impact. It's not just jokes and games, but I can be serious when I have to be serious. It really does warm up my heart to know that my content does provoke thoughts within people in their personal lives, personal daily lives. And that's exactly the kind of stories that I want to hear. I want to hear that you watch my content, the first thing you did the next morning is you going to inquire about starting to invest. The next thing that you do the next morning is open that investment app. The next thing you do the next morning is you downloading that investment app and basically starting to invest. Or the next thing you did the next morning is starting to actually save and plan your budget, etc. So those are the kind of stories that warm me up, and this is what the Money Space is here for. So let's get into the video. Yeah, I know I blab a lot, so you will get all sorts of stories from me, but it all comes from just trying to teach you something. Okay, so let us get into the title of the video. So these are one of the best ETFs to invest in, and BrokStock. So I'm currently using BrokStock, which is an investment app based in South Africa, and you can basically find a lot of investment instruments on this platform, which one of them being company shares, which is JSE shares, Johannesburg Stock Exchange shares, South African shares, as well as United States shares. You can also find metals. So metals, it is things such as silver, diamond, gold, platinum, etc. And you can also find ETFs, which is exchange traded funds. And the nice thing as well, which you can use to leverage against the continuous political turmoil that we continue to find ourselves in, especially when coming to the exchange rate, you can also find currencies on BrokStock. So you are able then to invest in Swiss franc, in the US dollar, in the Australian dollar. Listen, there's a lot of currencies there, the euro, the pound. So just check it out. And basically in the description box of this video, you will find details as to how you can get this platform. And because I am currently collaborating with them, then you can also then get 50 Rand from me as soon as you make your first deposit, which is 200 Rand and upwards. So I hope then this content of this video then will help you. If you're a new investor, you are a beginner investor, or you've been doing this for quite some time. And listen, I've been investing since 2020 and it is currently 2025. and I am still learning. Really is no such thing as reaching the final point of learning or reaching the final destination of like, you know what, I know everything, I'm perfect. Even the likes of Warren Buffett, I would like to highly believe that they are still learning till this day. So yeah, if you want to become an investor, you better start your learning journey right now, and you will gradually grow over time to becoming confident in being an investor. Let us get into it. The top three, they are listed as follows, which is the S&P 500, the second one being STX40, and the third one being IYW. I listed them in that order as per their risk level, so I will go further into detail then in the rest of the video as to what I mean by risk classification. Listen, the way I have been using BrokStock so much the past 2 years now, okay, maybe it's like 1 year and a half here, I literally know each and every single thing off by heart. Usually when I would do like my videos in the beginning, I would have like my other phone with me right now and having to go through the app while recording my videos. But because I literally have the app in my head, you can literally wake me up and be like, hey, Angelina, where do I get this? And I'll be like, you get this the end. So yeah, which I think is it's a very good, it's a good thing. Okay, I'm actually proud of that. You know, when you get to that point, you're on the money. Okay. Firstly, ETFs, as I explained before, it is exchange trade funds, and it is basically then a basket that includes particular shares inside. So instead of you buying one particular share or one individual stock, then you are buying this instrument, which is called an ETF. And in this ETF, it has a lot of shares inside. So usually this is what analysts would recommend beginner investors to start investing in, as it is kind of like the best way to spread your risk. So the reason why I say it's the best way to spread your risk is because if you're investing in this basket, and for instance, in the case of the S&P 500, it is then classified as the top 500 companies in the US. In the US, United States. So then in this basket, then you will find that there are top 500 companies. So meaning that if 20 or 10 companies perform poorly, it is not then going to disturb the entire performance of your investment. So then this is where then the risk component then comes in, where it says that, okay, fine, because you're investing in this ETF that has a lot of companies inside, it means that the performance of this instrument, it does not only depend on one thing, but it depends on the collective of these 500 companies together. So as you go to the BrokStock app, if you already have opened the app, and if not, or you're just totally new to this, you can still follow with me through a video, as I'll also be showing what I am doing. So on the side of this video, then you will see then the sections that you will need to go to once you are on your app. So when you get to the app, then go to the For You page. And when you get to the For You page, you will see different tabs. And those different tabs are then the different types of investments that you can find on BrokStock. So right there, you will see ETFs, and you click then on that icon. So after clicking on the ETFs icon, and then you will get to search. So there's a lot of ETFs available on the BrokStock. So I think it's about 1,000. Yeah, it's a lot. So you can literally just go there, then on the search button, then just to make things a bit quicker for you. So then go there and search for STX 500. And the reason why it is STX 500 is because, remember, you are investing as a South African investor. So the best way then to track the S&P 500 as a person that resides in South Africa, it is by investing in it through the STX 500. So it is basically like a similar thing. It just means that this STX 500 is an ETF instrument that follows the performance of the S&P 500. So this is what then you will search right there, and you will find it as the only option. Then you click on it, and right there you will find information about this ETF. And one thing that I really love about BrokStock is that it really does provide a lot of information which you will really find useful. So you don't really have to consult external sources for information like what is the risk level of this investment that I'm making, what is included in this instrument, and the likes, and basically what is in the news about this instrument. So you can literally find all this information on one platform. And honestly, for me, I don't know if it's the same thing for you too, I love convenience. As much as I have grown in being an investor over the past years, but I still prefer I still prefer convenience. I want to get on an app, invest, do everything, and then get out and get on with my other business. I don't want investments or me being an investor to become a whole job when I already have other responsibilities on the side, and this might be you right now, you have a full-time job and you want to start investing for yourself, then investing on a platform such as a BrokStock might be actually like a great idea. So do look into it and you will really see what I am talking about. So then as you search for that, you will see that it will tell you the risk level of this ETF. It'll also show you the price of it, and it'll show you a recommended horizon. So recommended horizon, it is, don't just invest today and be like, no, tomorrow I want 1 million rand. Guys, listen. Investments require patience, and this is something that I always stretch on all my videos, because I see people making the same mistakes over and over again, where they do not invest because they feel like, oh no, because I invested something like this today and I didn't get this amount the next month, then it means that investments are a scam and it's such a bad idea. And no, I'd rather not do this at all. Investments require a lot of patience, and listen, patience really pays off. So if you are really serious about becoming an investor, then you really need to adapt to having patience as well. So the moment that you invest that money, detach yourself from it. It no longer belongs to you. That's like literally like the best way for me, and that's how I'm able to invest into something and not continuously go to dip into something and then use it for something else. So yeah, so please do look at my previous videos before, where I actually do talk more into investments, which then would further help you in becoming a good investor. The time horizon for the S&P 500, it is 3 years. So this basically means that they recommend that you at least invest into this instrument for 3 years above for you to actually see good returns, right? So it is possible that the instrument can perform relatively well in less than 3 years. But basically, in them saying that at least invest for 3 years, it is saying that to maximize your potential returns, then look at 3 years and above. So meaning that you invest today, then in 3 years time, then you can possibly make your withdrawals or sell the instrument to then have the profits to yourself. In terms of the risk, then you see that it is then attached to medium risk. And the reason why it is medium risk, it is because then there is 500 companies inside. And because there's 500 companies inside, you do not just depend on one instrument inside, or 2 instruments or 3 instruments, but it is the entirety of those 500 companies all combined. And mind you, these are top 500 companies in the US. So it's not just random companies that they just put into this basket. It is the top 500 companies. So then those kind of things, then they would then lead to the classification of this instrument being a medium risk level. So if you are generally a person that is a balanced investor, meaning that you are moderate in terms of like your risk level, and if you want to know more into this and want to know like what type of investor you are, you can please look at these 2 series of videos to basically then know what type of investor that you are and what you basically need to know before you start investing. And that way then you get to then grow furthermore in your investment journey. You will see then the instrument will be, for instance, maybe above 100 rand for 1 unit. So let's say you only have 50 rand in your available funds. Available funds, it is what you're going to use to invest. So after depositing, right, by going to the portfolio of the platform, and then you're going to deposit your amount right there. Then after depositing, it's going to reflect in the available funds. So that amount in available funds, it is what you use then to invest into the component that you see on the platform. So then let's say, for instance, you have 50 rand available and you see this instrument right now, the S&P 500, for instance, it is above 100 rand, and you're just like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can afford it. So probably this is not for me. Listen, it does not work like that. I know that when you're going into a store and you see a chocolate and it's 10 rand, you have to have that 10 rand or you don't have the chocolate at all. But when coming to investments, the nice thing is that it does not work like that. You can literally invest into anything that you want with whatever amount that you have. It is possible. It just then means that you will not own the entire unit of this instrument, but you will only own a fraction of it. But it does not mean that if this instrument increased by 50%, that your investments will also increase by 50%. It will also increase by 50% based on basically how much you have invested in. So you can invest with anything, any amount that you have. And hence, I always say that investments are for everyone. They are for me and they are also for you, regardless of where you find yourself right now in your life. Let's say, for instance, you are interested to know what are the components involved in this ETF. So you just hear people saying that, no, it's the top 500 companies in this ETF. and you're one of those people that are very curious. You want to know where your money is going to. Okay, so you want to know what are these 500 companies, or at least what are like the most known companies that are in this ETF. So you can literally also find that on BrokStock as well. Listen, you can find everything. So when you just then scroll just below, you will see then the companies involved in this instrument, and one of them being your famous Apple, Google, Adobe, etc., and the likes of basically the companies that you are using and that you are familiar with. So that then would further inform you that, okay, this is a pretty much good investment because it really has like giant companies, companies that are known for doing extremely well, and companies that are, that have taken up a huge part of the market segment. Maybe you're curious to know how has this instrument been performing over maybe a certain period. So as you can see right there in blocks, it is written. So over the past month, over the past 3 months, over the past 6 months, over the past year, and over the past 5 years. And as you can see, the longer the duration is, the more returns they have been, right? So these are basically the recorded ones. And I mean, look at just like the over past 5 years. That is like above. And that then further informs you that I wouldn't want to invest into something today and take out my investment in a year's time, because then it means that I wouldn't have fully maximized the potential of the returns I would have gotten from this instrument. So then it goes back to the point of the recommended horizon. So as you can see, the recommended horizon being 3 years, already at 3 years, you can see a very good return. So let's say, for instance, you're like, you know what, let me just be more patient. Let me not do 3 years, let me do 5 years time. And then look at what happens. Then in 5 years time, you would have gained so much returns. So if you apply patience in your investments, I kid you not, you would have made the best decision for yourself, and you will thank yourself, and you go back to be like, you know what, you made the right choice. Okay, so let us go to the second ETF that is one of the best to invest in. So the second one, then go back then to the ETFs, and then to the search button, and then right there search for STX40. So STX40, it is Satrix 40, and these are the top 40 companies in the JSE. So these are South African companies, and you know that if you're investing in this ETF, you are investing in the top 40 companies that are performing really well in South Africa. So if you're interested in knowing what are the components that are involved in this, what companies are involved in this, is ShopRite there, is Standard Bank there, you're just trying to like figure out from the companies that you already know of, then you can just then go then just below, scroll below after finding the instrument, click on it, and you'll see the price as well right there, and then you will then see what components are there, and you will also find that your most popular companies that you know of that are relatively doing well, they are involved in it. When you go then to the risk level in this one, it is a high risk. So you're probably wondering, why would this one be a high risk and an ETF in the United States, which is overseas, it is a medium risk? This does not make sense at all, right? That's the first thing that I would probably say if I do not know much about investing. So the reason for this is that because in this previous one, S&P 500, there's 500 companies. In this one, there is only 40 companies. The reason why this one it is a high risk is because your money is dependent on 40 companies. And this one, your money is dependent on 500 companies. So basically then the more the diversification, the more the companies that your money is involved in, then the lesser the risk and the more the risk is spread out. And then because you are then just depending on 40 companies in this one, then it's going to make the risk level quite high, because 40 companies is quite less, right? So as you can see right there, it also the recommended horizon for this one, it is also 3 years plus, as I explained previously what this means. Maybe you're wondering, okay, how do I then buy this? So when you go below, you will find the option of buy. So you just click on that option that says buy, and then you will then write how many you are investing that into. So then you just write then your 50, 100, 200, 300, however much that you are committing yourself to investing in this component, and then just say buy. That's it, you're done. It didn't even take 5 minutes. So it literally is that simple. And yeah, and that investing this way, it's the future, If you're also interested in knowing how has this instrument been performing over particular periods, so you can see the past month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years as well as 5 years. So the same thing as I said before, and as I showed you before, that the longer you invest into an instrument, it really does show that there are higher possible returns. And these returns right there is returns that actually happened. It's not an estimation or just something that someone came up with and just put it there. No, it's actually what happened, right? So when you're investing, you don't only use what's currently happening in that particular stock or what's happening in that particular ETF or in the current economy. You also consider how has it been performing historically as well, right? So you really include a lot of things. And the nice thing that I love again about BrokStock is that you find all of these things that I'm mentioning, right? So then you can also then find a graph right there if you want to then further visualize it, where you can click on those icons. You can see the 1 month, you can see 6 months, you can see 1 year, you can see all. So all, it's then the all time. So from the time that it was listed in the JSE till to date. So you can see then basically how it's been fluctuating, and goes back to my point that investments do not move like this. Moving like this means that they are stagnant, they are stable, they stay in one point. You would preferably want to invest when a particular instrument is right here, it's on a low point, and then for the moment when it starts going up, then you go up with it. That's then how you get to have returns in that investment. For instance, when you're looking at that graph, it will help you then to visualize what point is the current price at right now compared to the previous periods. And then that will inform you then further, is this a good time to buy, or should I maybe just wait a bit till maybe it goes down? Because maybe there's something happening in the economy and generally stocks are going down. So you're like, no, let me just wait a bit. It's still gonna go down. Then the moment it goes down, then you buy it, right? The same way when you want to sell, you can see it's rising, but you're like, no, this might not be the last point that it's rising. It might still rise further. So let me wait a bit. And then you said there at the peak. And that is how you become a good investor. And then the last instrument that we're going to be going through, it is the IYW. Listen, this one, I feel like I want to sing IYW. It's not because I don't believe in the previous ones, but generally because it has to do with technology. And having been a person that lived in Austria, which is based in Europe, I have learned that technology is the future, guys. And I really felt like I was living like sort of like ahead of time, where each and every single thing there evolves around technology. And I wouldn't want to be the one of those people that are like, no, if I invested this in Amazon years ago, I would have been sitting on this right now. If I invested this in Bitcoin, I would have been sitting on this right now. I want to be one of those people that see an opportunity and I grab it. And that is how I see the technology industry. It is one of those industries where whether you hate it, you love it, you don't agree with it, we are moving towards that direction. Unfortunately, it is here to stay. So I'd rather be one of those people that instead of working against something, work with it and run with it. So whether you agree with AI or not, artificial intelligence, where now you can literally search for things on ChatGPT and it gives you things like, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about technology, okay? So in this instrument, the IYW, you can just then go back on the search button and then just write the IYW. So then you will find it right there, and it is called iShares. And then as you can see, the iShares, it is basically then, as I said, a technology ETF, which is based in the US, meaning that the companies that are in this ETF, it is US technology companies. So if you're also interested to know what are these companies, so the likes of Apple, Nvidia, Google, Adobe, Meta, all these companies that you know of that you can find in this instrument. I feel like when I know what components or what companies are in an instrument that I purchase, it gives me more confidence, because then I feel like I'm not completely in the dark. And when someone asks me, what is S&P 500? What is there? At least give me one company. Then you know what you're talking about. You don't sound like those people that are just doing something because someone told you to do it or someone just pushed you to it, but you actually know. That's what I call being a whole-rounded, holistic investor. No stuff. So then when you get right there, you will find that the risk level of this ETF, it is then high risk. And the reason why it is high risk as compared to the same explanation of the STX40, it is the fact that you are only investing in the technology industry. Your money is dependent on the technology industry when you're investing in this ETF. So let's say, for instance, hypothetically, God forbid, the technology industry dooms and it just crashes the next day. This means that you have lost your money, because then you literally put your money only in an ETF that has technology companies. That is why then the risk level that is attached to it, it is a high risk level. But knowing that I'm sort of like an optimistic investor, okay, so if the technology industry were to crash down, I don't know, it's a bit of a fast stretch. Anything's possible, but it's a bit of a fast stretch. That's all I'm saying. There's no financial advice. I'm just saying, okay? So then when you get then to the platform, then you will see that the recommended horizon, it is also then 3 years plus. So by this, I think you've already programmed that if you want to invest into anything, if you want to start investing, 3 years plus, 3 years plus, 3 years plus. If you look into 1 year, it is possible, but to maximize your potential returns, 3 years plus. The respective percentages that it has grown to the past horizons, this one is actually the highest, and maybe that's why I love it so much. I'm like, money, money, money. You can even see that the past 12 months, the return, it is higher than the S&P 500 and the STX40. So I don't know. So you can see right there, the past 3 months, the past month, the past 3 months, the past 6 months, the past 1 year, the past 3 years, and also the past 5 years. And those returns are insane. And I'm just like, why didn't anyone tell me about this? Like, I should have started investing into such things when I started investing. You know, I would have been very far. Maybe I wouldn't even be creating this content, guys. But I'm like, I am too rich to be doing this. But no, I'm just joking. Even if I'm rich, I want to be doing this content, guys. So don't worry about that. So this is basically then this company, the IYW, and if you want to get your hands basically on the technology sector, then this is basically like one of the best ETFs to invest in. So I will do a video actually separately where I'll just then be focusing on just the technology sector, where then I'll also be talking about respective companies to invest in if you want to move with the times, you know, want to move with the trend, you want to move with where we're going. So I'll also post that video, and please let me know if there's something that you'll be interested in, and please do further tell me like your thoughts on this. No, maybe I can learn something or two from you, right? Let us learn from each other. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. And as I mentioned in this video, basically how to purchase the share, it is the same way for each instrument. So whether you are buying a currency, an ETF, a share, a metal, whatever instrument that you find on the platform, it is the same process. So you then can go to those things, you see the information, you see the part of the news, you see what this thing is. And the nice thing as well then about the ETF section of the BrokStock app is that you can also see the benefits. So the things that basically that are already explained, you can find them there. It's the best way to diversify. It's the best way to basically invest in one of the most growing industries, which is the technology sector. So you can also then look through that in your own time. So if you have any questions, please do comment down below and I'll get right to them, even if it's something that is not particularly related to this video, but something that came to mind while you were watching or while I said something, then do comment that down below and I will get right back to you. Remember, do watch our previous videos where I do cover a lot on investments. See you on the flip side of wealth. Bye, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hey, I'm a YouTuber now. I'm a YouTuber. I need to get used to this. Please subscribe and share my video if you can. Bye. Oh, and remember, if you want to start investing, BrokStock, description box, the information is right there. Follow those instructions, and then you'll be good to go.